Dear children, today I am going to demonstrate some more examples of function. Now on the screen there is a function calculate factor sum whose return type is void. It simply means that the function is not going to return anything and it receives one variable which is num. In this function we are going to find out the sum of the factors of any number. Here the main method is, and this is scanner class for the user input. We have declared this variable num, and here we have entered the number here. I want to invoke this function within this main method. It simply means I need to call this function within main, and for doing that we need to create the object of the class. So here I'm going to create the object of the class. This is the name of the class. This is the object name, and here new keyword, and then another time this name of the class appears. This is how we have created the object of the class, and now I'm going to call this function. The name of the function is calculate factor sum, and here I'm passing the value now. Since the function is not going to return anything, means nothing will appear here, and whatever function is going to receive, everything function will do within the main, within its own body. It is not going to return anything to the calling code or within the main method. So in order to calculate the sum, we have got a variable sum, and first of all we need to run a loop that will go from this variable 1 till it is up to number itself, which is n. And first of all we have to find out the factor. So here if n mod I is 0, it means if n is completely divisible by I, then this I will be known as the factor of the number. Let us see that. Suppose the number is 10. See that its factors are 1, 2, 5 and 10. These factors we have to add within the same program using the same function, and for doing the same we have created this variable sum. So here within this, while we are printing this factor, we can write sum is equals to sum plus I. So here we have calculated the sum of the factors also. When this loop terminates, when this loop is over, here whenever control reaches here, we have to print the sum of the factor of num is what? The sum. Since the function cannot return any value, everything we have to do within the main. If the return type is void, in that case we cannot return any value. In the same program, we will be returning a value later on, but just now see this. Here if the sum is 10, you see that the factors are 1, 2, 5 and 10, and the sum of the number 10, the sum of the factors of this number 10, which is 18. Here better if we change this, if we change the line here. So here you see that if the sum of the factors of this number 10 is 18. 10 plus 5, 15, 16, 17 plus 1, 18. Suppose children, in the same question, if we want to return the sum within the main method, what we need to do, we must specify some return type here. And suppose this time the name of the function is factor sum, and here if it receives a variable n, in that case the function must calculate the sum of the factors in this variable s, and after it has calculated this, we need to return that value s from this function, and that value will be received within the main method. So here what we will be doing is just start a loop that will go from this loop will go from 1 to n, and dividing this number n by every value of I, and here if I is a factor of n, then s is equals to s plus I. This is how we have calculated the sum, and here this value will get returned from this function. Here we need to change a little bit. Here what we want to do is there is another function, that there is another variable that, suppose factor sum is the name of the variable here, and this fact sum variable will receive the value returned by this function factor sum. Here this variable, and here I'm going to call this function factor sum. Factor sum, this is the name of the function, and passing this variable num. Now in this case the function is returning a value which will get stored in this variable fact sum. The value flows from right to left, that will get stored within this. After that we need to print this value, which is actually the sum of factors. So here the sum of the factors of the number num, of the number num is actually fact sum. Now see how it works. Here the number is 10, and this time the sum of factors of the number 10 is 18. I hope the difference is now clear. In this case you will see that this function's return type is void, this function's return type is int. When this function is invoked, we need to print everything within this only. But here when this function is invoked, we need not to print the value here, because it can return one value, and that value is s, and that value will get stored in this variable fact sum, and after that we need to print the returned value here. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.